off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday on the morning show. Spencer Israel, Steve Strazza, JC Parets off gallivanting in the city. He'll be back on Monday. We'll have Louis Sykes join us. It is Crypto Friday after all. We'll have Kenny Glick stop by. We have to talk about this. The news of the day on Wall Street, in media, wherever. Netflix, Warner Brothers getting together. Talk about that. I think Steve might want to talk about DraftKings. Don't know why. We'll have to watch and find out. Plenty of other things going on. You guys hear about this crazy IPO in China? Steve knows all about it, I think. So we'll talk about it. What's up, Phil and P Guns and Chris and Lazy Beats and Diverse Insight? Hope your day's off to a good start. Let's go. If you're watching us on YouTube, thumbs up, please, and thank you. Here we go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Indeed.
What a week. The Bulls are back.
The Bulls are back. Steve Strazza no longer crap. What was your nickname from last week, the last few weeks?
Dry powder.
Dry powder, thank you. No longer dry powder Strazza over here.
Yep. And we'll see. We'll see what comes next. But for now, just ecstatic at the action since last week, really. It's been great. That's the truth. Seriously. I think you heard me on the call yesterday.
I did.
All good things. That list of bullish evidence has really grown in a significant way. I think you had to see it. And it's ending up looking like the perfect reset, right? People keep talking about Santa Claus things and the year-end chase, all those great things. Really nice reset, setting us up for it, I think. The corrective wave of the prior months and weeks. So that's great. I think we're in a good position. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you want a bull market, then you want action like we've had the past few weeks, and this week included, right? Where it's like, doesn't look so great for a little minute there, but then, like you call it, corrective wave, comes back, things stabilize, and we look around, and the damage wasn't so bad.
It can't be easy, right? The market's not going to make it easy. So when it starts to feel easy, you should get skeptical almost. And that's where things were going. And now we scared some people out, right? Probably frustrated a lot of people too with this messy market conditions that we've been in. So I think seriously, it's really it's a perfect setup right now.
And I don't even feel like it's only been a couple of weeks, right, from the lows of whatever you want to look at, right? In my case, I'm just
hasn't been long at all.
I'm looking at ARC right now, but so it's only been a couple of weeks. So you didn't miss anything.
It's less about time and more about the magnitude.
Yeah,
we've just seen some major moves and some real starting line momentum coming off these lows. So I think in terms of evidence that a tradable low is in, we got it. You got all of it. Now, you want to look for some red candles, look for some backing and filling, buy some dips, buy some weakness here, if and when you get it. But I think we're definitely off the mat here. In a big way. Did you see the ARC stuff yesterday? I think that was just huge. Speaking of meme stocks. ASTS was up like 20%. Space and exploration heading back to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. And that ASTS was in a lot of ways for me like my own personal poster child.
It's one of them
of junk, right? This thing went from 102 to 50. So that's not nothing. That's a 50% drawdown.
Some of these stocks can end up giving you really good information. So like I like to look at the leaders, right? The earlier cycle leaders like ASTS.
Yep.
Look at quantums. Look at something like Rigetti, 15% yesterday. But you're seeing it across the board in these names, and I think it's really encouraging. In fact, if there's one place Now, I'm not going to steal Louis' thunder. It is Crypto Friday, so we will talk all about it.
Mm.
There's one group that I'm looking at, Spencer, like, what is going on here? It continues to be crypto. Continues to be crypto. Shout out China.
Well, what is going on? Not in a good way, though, right? That's what you
Right.
mean.
Why aren't
Right,
you Why aren't you bouncing like your friends out here, crypto? I think they eventually get to them. I also think it seems like there is an effort out there to press this situation with MicroStrategy. The sharks are circling, and I think you see this story come back, and they're going to press this thing until it breaks. All right, this is what short sellers do. They sniff out opportunities like this. I think in the case of MicroStrategy, it's pretty obvious. So we're probably okay for now, right? You get a nice rebound rally with everything else, but this story comes back in the future. It's not gone. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of punting on anything strategy related because I have no idea. So
Smart.
Yeah,
You don't have an opinion on everything.
No. And I still haven't gotten around to making my list. I need. When we had that list like 3 months ago of all those crypto treasury companies, and that list is 3 months old by now. There's a whole bunch of new ones since then.
Bought some, and they immediately drew down like 50%. I said, okay.
Yeah.
That's a strong message from the market.
What's the Ives ticker? Someone help me
What?
out. The ticker for Dan Ives' company. Oh, is it Ives?
Did they change it? It was with an O, wasn't it?
I don't. Yeah, I'm asking.
It was the
remember.
Orbs.
Oh yeah, it was ORBS. Thank you. Oh, okay.
I don't listen to him talk at all. Diverse Insight. I went and I listened to him at a conference just because it was friends of ours conference. Everybody was listening. This was March of this year. And it was the first time I ever listened to him really speak for an extended period of time. I listened to him up there for 40 minutes with, I think it was Bob Pisani. And my jaw was on the floor, the things I was hearing. And even more so, we talked about it on the show. I remember it well. What was even more shocking is where I was standing. I could look at the faces in the crowd really well, and everybody was all in. I was just looking at people's faces, a crowd full of advisors, smart people. We're all like, yeah. And I talked to a bunch of people after, and everybody's like, what do you mean this won't work? This is great. Got to own it. I'm like, oh boy, what a mess this is. Intelligent leverage.
Did you see the thing? Did you see the thing from the other day? They announced their USD reserve. You see that?
Who did?
MicroStrategy.
No.
Yeah, they have a $1.4 billion USD reserve. That's what they called it, a USD reserve.
Jesus. Look,
as if it's a novel idea. As if having cash on your balance sheet is some novel idea.
No, it's funny. It's funny. They're living in a different world. They call capital markets an ATM. I think they're going to learn a really hard lesson about that soon.
All right. Can we talk about Netflix here? Do we have a chart that we can pull
up?
This is the story of the day.
I'm super disappointed, but you go first. Yeah. Because HBO is the single greatest property in this world. Netflix and HBO have very, very different strategies. HBO is low volume, high quality. Netflix is high volume, trash quality. And I'm just scared shitless that Netflix is going to ruin my beautiful, beautiful HBO because HBO is perfect.
Okay.
And I'm really worried about that.
I'm not as bearish on this as you are. I think as most people are, frankly. But so here's the deal. Netflix appears to have, at least for now, won the bidding war for Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount was all up in there. Comcast was all up in there. The total enterprise value of this deal is around $83 billion. It's a cash and a stock deal. So if you own Warner Brothers, you are getting $23.25 per share in cash and 4.501 shares of Netflix for every share that you own of I'm sorry, I misread that. $4.50 worth of shares in Netflix is what I meant to say. $4.50 worth of shares in Netflix, not 4.5 shares. $4.50 worth of shares in Netflix for every share of Warner Brothers that you own. So it's a cash and stock deal. So now these stocks will trade together with some discount and ratio for the foreseeable future. I guess maybe a year. year and a half until this thing actually closes. There is a 100% chance that maybe not 100%, 99% chance that Paramount and Comcast like sue to stop this deal from happening. And there's going to be, of course, antitrust stuff. I cannot imagine that this deal doesn't go through. It most likely will. And the
a lot of times, like you're saying, they'll fight a little bit, and then certain properties or brands will have to be like spun off to another place.
Well, they already are. As part of the deal, Warner Brothers is saying goodbye to its cable TV assets, CNN, TBS, TNT, all those guys. Goodbye. Yeah. The main thing here, of course, is the IP. It's the movie studio, and like you said, it's HBO. There's a kind of their main assets that Netflix is buying here. This is the largest deal in Netflix's history. So this is a very big deal.
Yeah. But at this point, these companies should know what to do. This industry group and all of these players are no strangers to mergers and acquisitions. They do it more than anybody. So I'm sure the deal is structured or set up in a way that's highly likely to go through. Netflix shareholders hating it, though, this morning.
You know what, though?
Down 4%. And
this is a perfectly normal reaction. This is a totally normal reaction.
Fine. The stock just completed a top. The trend is turning.
Yes. So there's two things I was going to say. One, you see this all the time. The companies that are doing the acquiring will trade down. Two, like you said, Steve, the chart already did not look great before this, right? Yeah. So perfectly normal to see the stock trade down. It's been going down, like you said. So I would expect that to continue. But long term, this has got to be, to use a fancy accounting word, accretive for the company. It's got to be. Like,
look, they bought a great asset, I think. And again, I'm just really disappointed.
I'm not as disappointed because the alternatives were worse. The alternatives were Paramount. Yes, okay. I'll take Netflix over those guys any day of the week.
It's the death of television is the truth. I mean, everything good from a content perspective, and it's already happening, isn't going to come from major networks and these shit companies anymore. And it's already happening. It's happening slowly, and it's going to happen all at once in the future, I think.
Find me a company that's been passed around more than Warner Brothers, and I don't think you can, because this company gets passed around every 5 years. Right. I actually forgot, Steve, that they merged with AT&T. Do you remember that? That was not that long ago.
Mess. Yeah.
I forgot about that entirely.
They did the worst job of anybody, AT&T.
There was well, that's saying something. There was the AOL, there was Time, right? Remember AOL Time Warner for a little bit there? I mean, it's a disaster of a corporation. So it's no surprise that they're just loaded up with debt after all these years. But they have what matters, I think, which is IP. They have it, and they, like you said, they have HBO. HBO is awesome. So I think this is just going to be. I think this is a good thing for Netflix. Jury's out on whether it's good for like us as like consumers, but I think the alternatives were far worse. You could do a lot worse than Netflix here. I think.
I think Netflix runs a real risk of being disrupted in the future. This company is not a Mag 7. Do not be confused about it. They're not. They're nothing like them, frankly. It's insufferable. Netflix has such a trash product, and they still run a monopoly. That's just how bad this industry is. So
you're right in that they are the clear winners of the streaming wars. There is no debate. The wars ended, I don't know what, 2 years ago. It's over. Netflix crushed everybody. They crushed Disney. They crushed HBO. They crushed Warner Brothers. They crushed them all, right? Netflix won. But as they themselves have said, they have entered into a new phase of the business, right? They are now a more mature business. They're focusing on profitability. They are selling ads, which we all know, which we all see. Not all of us, but some of us, and they're maybe no longer the high growth company that they were from the prior decade, and that's perfectly okay. I think they're more mature, and when you're more mature, you have to do. Sometimes you have to buy growth. Okay, that's just the way it is. So
part of the business life cycle, I guess. In other news, big shout out and congratulations in order for large cap tech stocks. So
not you, Netflix.
Not yeah, not you, Netflix. Sorry. The Sector Spider Technology ETF XLK. I believe this is its first split in history. I think tech stocks are, crazy extended and they've been acting like this forever. Think about that. I don't think this fund has ever had to split before. Just a twofer. So that's cool. Another tech news.
So my XLK is down 50% today.
No, dude.
Shit.
Right. Don't be alarmed.
Sometimes, a lot of times, what happens is the data providers, like the prices won't adjust, or the prices will show because the price is down by half.
Spencer woke up and had a heart attack. He saw his IRA down 50%.
Right, exactly. So you see like in your account, it's like down 50%. That happens all the time, and you're like, what the hell just happened? Okay. Oh, I have more shares now. Oh, I see how it works.
Okay.
Stock splits are a sign of maturity. Netflix has done a few of those. So,
one more. And do we have a Baidu or any sort of Chinese tech chart? Because this can only be a good thing, right? You got to pay attention to what's going on in overseas markets. The NVIDIA of China, it's not, I know, as some are calling it this morning, just IPO'd. What's it called? More Threads?
More Threads. More.
Moore's Law and
Moore's
Threads.
Law. Yep.
Clever name. Very American name, also shocker. So they went public over in China this morning and stock's up like 400%. So the animal spirits alive and well in Chinese tech stocks. You're seeing a bid in some names in the pre-market. Baidu, I know, is up about 4 or 5%. So as it turns out, Spencer came out of a beautiful base here, right, as shown in the chart, right into a topping pattern, but it's scooping and scoring, failing that top. Real shocker. Not a top in Baidu. I think Baba follows the same path soon.
Thundercat, can we trade it? The answer is, well, not yet in the US, but if this keeps up, give it a few months and somebody will almost certainly create an OTC related product to match these guys. But if they keep going like this.
For me, it's more sentiment, right? It's just the information that the market's telling you when stock like this goes public and receives such a warm welcome. That's good. It's good for the whole theme. It's good for the whole trade. And it's especially good probably for Chinese growth and speculative tech, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of headlines today on that tech front. Like you said, somebody in chat mentioned the SoFi offering. These are the kind of things you see in bull markets, right? So SoFi is down because they did an offering of how much again? I don't know. I forget what the amount what the offering was. Doesn't matter what the amount was. But yeah, things you see in bull markets, companies raise money because their stocks are higher. $1.5 billion. So is the size of that offering. So yeah, you see just a lot of bullish headlines. It's not everything is up today. Sentinel-1 had earnings. They're down 10% this morning. HPE, which has sort of been a mess to begin with. It's HPE is like a cloud enterprise cloud storage company, and their business doesn't seem to be improving with AI at all. So that stock is down 10%. They had earnings last night.
Another one on earnings that deserves a shout out, Spencer, is Salesforce. Not a great report. Nothing special happening over there yet. Missed on the top line. That stock is digging in at a critical level. There's a massive non-top formation there. This is the place you want to get in for a long-term buy in something like Salesforce.
My bellwethers of software are Salesforce and Adobe. Sometimes I just look at those and I extrapolate.
So I bought some Adobe yesterday as well. So I bought the Salesforce and I bought some Adobe. Looking ahead, they have earnings coming up. I believe. When are their earnings? Yeah, earnings next week, it looks like. Yeah, and it's the same pattern, Spencer, there in Adobe, right? Like what Salesforce just did, I think paints a nice picture, shows the way for a stock like Adobe, right, in a very similar business, software business, with earnings coming up like Salesforce just had, to kind of print out the same little scoop and score failed breakdown situation. And that's just the perfect place to enter a trade. So even if you get stopped out, I'm all about optimal entries, and I'm seeing that in software like ServiceNow as well.
Salesforce just went on the watch list because that's a nice tradable low, 221. Got it. That's nice.
Christopher Akins asked, "What do you guys think of Wolf?" We just talked about crypto. I think it's super cute to go there right now with so much other stuff working.
I'm one of the people that got shaken out a few weeks back, so I'm looking to put some stuff to work here.
Crypto?
No. Well, everything.
Hit up
my short term and medium term accounts are, I raised some cash, so I got to put some of that back in there.
There's Spencer Dry Powder Israel. Go back to what worked earlier. Go back to the winners. I think into year end. That makes a lot of sense.
My best. You know what my best trade of the year was, Steve? It was actually the Alibaba.
Really? Good for you.
Yes,
that's great.
Yes.
Go back.
It was actually Alibaba.
I think you could run it higher again, Spencer. I think you got another nice entry. You could look at the price action and Baidu. Those look the same for a reason. Baba probably follows.
I didn't know that until I was looking when I was a few weeks back when I was doing some selling. I was like, what my best trade of the year was? Alibaba. I was stunned. I didn't realize.
Spencer was just beefing up his USD reserve, USDC reserve.
Phil, the shit coins have all been sold.
Yeah.
Even the Farcoin. Yeah. Farcoin is gone. Everything was gone. Farcoin I made money on. The rest of them I did not. So
you can also just buy so little of them, like you make a FOMO purchase, but it's such an insignificant amount that you don't even give a shit when it goes down 80%. That's another thing that you can
I think I have
losing money.
Shit coins. Farcoin, I think I doubled. The rest of them I lost 90% at least. Right. So I have 8 zeros and 1 double. I probably came out down a little bit.
Every time I buy one of these real shit coins, Spencer, it's the top. Like every time.
Yeah.
Every time I dabble in this space, it's a no. But I keep doing it, like I said, in very small amounts because I know who I am. I got no edge.
It was fun. I had a lot of fun when it lasted. It lasted probably 6 months, maybe. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
I'm not thinking too much about Oracle. I think they fucked up though. I think just basic math. They overdid it there at Oracle. I don't think Oracle tanks the market though, right? I think,
man, that is an epic move.
Yeah, it's one company, right? But yeah, it seems like they've made some mistakes over there for sure.
It seems like it likes the 200. There's a nice round number there. Kind of bounced off. Anyway, yeah, what a move for Oracle. Whew. All right. We got Kenny Glick in the house, and then we're gonna bring on Louis after that. So let's do it. How about that? I have no idea what's on Kenny's watch list this morning. I would suspect maybe he is selling rips in some of these like random retail stocks, like Victoria's Secret's up 15% this morning, which is crazy. Ulta Beauty's up 7%. I want to see Kenny sell some. Let's find out. I don't know. I don't want to put words in his mouth.
I'm rooting for Victoria's Secret. Rose came home with a big old bag from Ulta yesterday. What's up with that? Big old bag.
Is it? What's up with that? The stock is up with that. That's exactly what's up with that.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my club, they took it. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hold up. Yeah.
Yes! The market is rigged. We did it again.
What'd you do?
The Qs. Fat Finger Freddy shows up. Check this out. By the way, if you guys don't know about SMX, I hope you guys know about SMX. We'll get that in a second. Look at this bad boy. Look.
Okay, what happened?
All right. So we got a little selling right there, right? And the market's trying to bounce. We're already thinking we're going short the Qs, which is kind of weird because the market never goes down. And then this happens. So you get this print out of the money, right? Just bang. There's Fat.
Wait, hold on. Wait, real fast. What time was that at?
This was at what time was that? 9:05? No, sorry. Yeah, 9:05. No, can't be 9:05. Why is my time wrong?
This print is from the future.
Where am I? Where am I? What the hell's going on here? What time was that? Why is my clock's all off on that computer? That's so freaking weird. It's 8:01. What the hell's going on?
Okay, so this print is from 8:01 this morning. Got it.
8:01, right? So we're thinking, all right, so okay, we see that print, and then we start rolling over. You gotta get short. So then take a look at this. The computers are telling us it's going to go here. My computer also says it's going to go to the orange line. So then we're definitely going short. We're covering that Fat Finger Freddy, and then we got covered down there. And now take a look at this. We just grabbed a couple more data points on VWAP, and wait, where's that second one? This computer's a little messed up. Look at this. Look at the print right here. To the penny, Holmes. To the penny. So we just covered at the lows on this trade, and it was fantastic. So very excited, but not as excited as I was. I spilled coffee everywhere when I saw this chart. You guys know about SMX? Tell me you know about the stock, friends. It all started with a little faux show bro the other day at $3. $3. And yesterday it was in the 30s. We were like, oh, wow, that's impressive. And then it went through the VWAP again through 60. And we're buying this thing at 80, goofing around with like 8 shares, and it went to 120. We're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Look where the stock went this morning, kids. $435. So if you think you've missed anything in this bull market, there's one of these every day. This is the sickest market I've ever seen in my life. I'm 54 years old. I never thought I would ever see days like I saw back in the 90s. This is dwarfing what I witnessed there. Dwarfing it, people. This is every day, and we're on all these names. This is the greatest time to be a trader. There's never been a time like this. My name's Kenny Glick. Join the website before you go broke, and don't be short in this market without me. So what's going on?
Do you know what SMX stands for? It's Security Matters.
Yeah, sure it does. Yeah. They have 9 shares in the float. Did you see that? They did a 1 for 300 billion reverse split. Thanks, lady.
Wait, do they actually? I'm seeing. Oh my God, you were not joking. The total shares outstanding what does that say? 1.051 million.
Yeah,
1.051 million shares.
9 shares in the float. I own one of them.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. I thought this other stock was ridiculous. The PLRZ, it had a 1 for 250 reverse split. And then they did another 10 for 1 just to rub it in your face. But oh my God, guys, I mean, this is still not the king. The king was about 5 or 6 years ago, HKD. Who remembers HKD? What?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, HKD. I'll give you a brief tour of HKD. So this one, and this actually happened, and we were there for it, and somebody printed it way up there. That's not a split adjusted chart. This stock actually went to $3 from $3 to 2,553, and that actually happened. So this stock is ingrained in the psyche of every lunatic pre-market trader on these low float, reverse split, ridiculous names. And every time they start moving, there's always somebody thinking, maybe this is the next HKD. And that's why they're on fire all the time. The year of the squeeze, man. This has been, forget about GameStop and AMC. There's been like 100 AMC and GameStops this year. It's just absolutely incredible. I never thought I'd be this excited about trading ever again in my life, but here we are, baby.
Kenny, you were the one that introduced us to ASTS. So you getting back in that bad boy?
Well, I missed the bounce, and I missed a lot yesterday. So, I was talking about how these stocks made their turns. And again, this is why I love being a bear, because I know when those shorters overstay their welcome. And that was in the USARs and the rigatonis yesterday, because after that third day or after that second day, that's when the shorts go, you know what? I think we better get out of this thing. And they rip. So USAR, the rigatonis, the UUUs, we were crushing on all those names. But today, I don't know. I'm riveted by this SMX. I'm going to be glued to this one. I got to see, because I'm going to go in there. Inevitably, I got to see if I get a borrow on this thing. Because kids, the crazy thing about a stock that goes from 3 to 435, it's going back to zero inevitably. And I want to be there for it. So, but don't get in its way right now. Crazy, 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 crazy times. So,
Kenny, you know what happened on this day in 1996? So almost 30 years ago.
Wait for it. 96, December 5th, 1996.
Yeah, somebody said something.
I was buying I Omega at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but okay.
No, today was the irrational exuberance comment from Alan Greenspan.
Was that 96?
Yeah, it was
Oh my
96.
God.
It was the
Wow.
end of the year in 96, and the bull market continued on for 3 more years.
Right. I remember the firm that I worked for was so corrupt and awful that they made a meeting about it. They called us in, and then we had to. So like, listen, get on the phone with your clients. Tell them we have to sell everything in their portfolios. Something's going on. And I'm sitting there going, these stocks don't move because of the Fed. They're all penny stock, worthless pieces of garbage. But they use the excuse of irrational exuberance so we could churn our clients' accounts. I was like, I think I'm in the wrong business here. I was like, I got to get out of this place. And why are you throwing that dwarf again? Get out of here with the dwarf tossing. Yeah. So it was, yeah, I remember that day now. Yeah. We were told to get out of our penny stocks because of what Alan Greenspan said. Yeah. Because it's going to influence.
Hey, those were the times, man. That's what it was. And now we have SMX.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. But you know what? Even back then, I remember there was a company we traded back in the penny stocks. It was IDID. Anybody remember these things from the 90s? It was a company called Identex. I'm going to go after this story. By the way, look at that QQQ cover down at the lows. Ooh, maybe the weekend's going to start. There was a company called Identex, and it was supposed to be finger scanning. It was that was kind of cool back in the 90s. So you could scan your finger to get into places, and supposedly IBM was buying it out. And this the symbol was I did, and we never seen anything like it before. It had like billion shares trading on it, like billions and billions of shares. It was a rumor IBM stock went from 7 cents to $35. It was the sickest thing we had ever seen up until that point, and then the dot-coms happened. So I've seen some crazy stuff in my day, but man, this market, and everybody thinks it's a little bubblicious. It is a little bit, but it's fantastic. It's fantastic. This is what you want, guys. Ripping and rolling and ripping, dipping and ripping, and faux show broing. So fantastic way to start the day.
If you want to have more fun in your life, I really cannot recommend being in Kenny's room with him. Does he look like he's having fun? He sounds like he's having fun. I'll tell you that.
After I cleaned up.
Yeah. Hitthebid.com. Hitthebid.com. Be there with Kenny every day as he trades craziness and has fun while he does it. That's
be careful. Be
part
careful.
of the game.
That's all I can say if you're trading some of these names. Yeah, absolutely crazy. But another one that you didn't mention, Ulta. Big fan of the Ulta. Let's see what we're doing here.
Yeah, it had a great report.
I think it's all-time highs, but I'm gonna probably look for a little fade on that if it breaks through 570. Big fan of the Ulta. Huge fan. I don't know, something about that store. I like it. Makes me feel good when I'm in there. I think it's all the good-looking girls that are in there. So maybe that's what it is. Could be. Y'all have a great weekend. Be careful. Be nice to each other. Peace.
Oh, be nice to each other. Wise words from Mr. Glick. God, yeah. He did you notice that comment? He said the weekend may have already started. it's 9:00 on Friday. So, oh yeah, the weekend may have just started. That's how good his morning is. The weekend started already. So
I feel like today is gonna be a grand Friday.
Well, I mean, on that note,
Friday.
we haven't really talked about, the futures market or anything like that, but it's extremely uneventful overnight, right? In terms of futures, I did see that comment from Sam in the chat about the German yield. Sam, I don't know what were we talking about. I half read it.
There's not a big move or anything there. It's trying to make new highs.
But like even Bitcoin, I'm looking at on my chart, at least I'm looking at the Bitcoin futures down 2%. That might as well be 0. Everything's flat. Nothing is nothing. There's nothing interesting is happening. I mean, gold's up 0.5%. So,
Spencer, what do you think?
So far, so good today is the point I'm making.
What's with all the hate for sports betting? Do you bet on the sports?
I bet on sports like 4 or 5 times a year. I do it socially. I have to be with friends. My friends are hardcore. I'm not hardcore. I have to be with them to do it.
So they probably have a great time doing it. I know guys like them.
Yeah.
Right? They're betting all the time, talking about what they're betting.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
My friends do arbitrage. I don't do any of that stuff.
people who hate sports betting, I want to kind of just give them a hug and say, live a little, right? Have you ever spent money on something where you thought, I probably overspent? That was a little bit excessive, but I enjoyed myself. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to die one day, so I'm glad I did it. I think most of the people who engage in sports betting are smart enough to not bet more than they can, and they view it like that. You go out and you have beers with your friends and you spend money. You bet on some games and you spend a little bit of money. It's just for the joy of it. It's just for fun. It's not, I don't think people think that they're investing when they're gambling.
I hope not. I wish like this sports bettors understood that the markets are actually more fun than sports betting. Sports betting is fun. The markets are more fun. But
sports betting is an absolute blast. It's both.
It's fun.
Both of it's fun. One of them for me is a job. Another one's a hobby.
It's a social thing for me, right? It's something that I do to participate in the conversation.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Thank God bless America that we can gamble on sports more easily today. And just don't take it too seriously. People are just having fun out there. It's like spending money on anything else. It's just for fun. It's not investing, and I don't think anybody really thinks it is. We'll have to talk to JC about it next week and figure out what's really going on there. But cold take
from who?
He's out here ranting against it. Dan Russo, they're getting all upset about sports betting. I don't know how.
No, I think they're getting mad about like prediction markets, which is a different thing entirely.
Betting,
which I think it has a place in society, but I can understand why you'd be freaked out by it, because it is kind of weird that you could like bet on the government shutdown ending. Like that's kind of weird. I like it, but it is weird. So I get why people are a little bit skeeved out by the whole thing.
Yeah, most gamblers do lose. Yeah, exactly. Totally. It's not a business. It's just for fun, but it's a blast. And I think you got to buy DraftKings here. Not a top digging in where it should. This is an absolute mega trend. They are one of the clear industry leaders. Say what you want about sports betting. It ain't going away. It's a massive market. It's only going to get bigger. These companies are masters at marketing and getting people to spend money on their apps and platforms. And I just think it's a trend that you got to own. And DraftKings chart on is just set up so perfectly here. DraftKings chart on.
How many pure plays? There's not even that many. There's DraftKings and there's Flutter, and that's kind of it.
Those two. Yeah, the big two. DraftKings, FanDuel. You have other players on the periphery.
Yeah, but in terms of market share, it's those two and everybody else. I think. Yeah. I'm no expert.
I love me some Hard Rock bets. I'll just say that. We're gonna go to the casino when we're in Miami.
Oh God, not the Hard Rock.
We're gonna be nowhere.
The Hard Rock is far. I've been there. It's far away.
It's about 30 minutes away. Dude, we're not even gonna be close to Miami Beach. Did you know that?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but not as close. I like to be on the beach.
My idea was Miami Beach, and JC said no, absolutely not. I'm not going to Miami Beach. It's okay.
Well, here's the problem. It's January. It is January in Miami Beach, so not the best month for me. But the weather will be beautiful. We could have stayed at the Fontainebleau.
That was my idea.
No, you don't. It wouldn't have been a good idea. It probably would have been a good idea.
I literally suggested that, and JC said we're not staying at that ridiculous hotel. Anyway, whatever.
Fonz loves La Fontainebleau.
Nice
I'm more of a Nobu guy myself, but you get older. But Fontainebleau, what a place.
Yeah, classy place from like the 50s. All right, Louis, you want to come on and talk crypto with us? I think he does.
Got my fingers on the pulse, avocado and toast, leather seats, jet plane, always ready to go.
Morning, guys. Talking about the whole sports betting thing, I just got to say, bullish Max Verstappen into this weekend. He's going to take the title. It's going to be a great race in Abu Dhabi. If there's a sports market right now in the world you need to be betting on, that's the F1. bullish Max Verstappen into this weekend.
So if you could picture F1 popularity as like a chart, there was like a huge wave a couple of years back, right, Louis? At least in America. I was in that wave because there was this documentary on Netflix about F1 and it got everyone excited. And I watched Formula One for like a year. I watched a lot of races like for that one season. And then it's been a steady decline for the last like 2 or 3 years as I just can't keep up with it. But I will watch this weekend because it is the last race of the year. And there's basically a 3-way tie for first right now. And so it really did come down to the wire. So I will watch Abu Dhabi. It's tomorrow morning my time. I think it's 8 o'clock in the morning, or sorry, Sunday morning. I think 8 o'clock in the morning. So I think I will watch that because, but I haven't watched it. I kind of like kept up on the periphery, so I know some things, but I'm not as hardcore as I was like 3 years ago. There was like that first wave. Now there's like a massive correction in terms of like how much I care and how much I watch. But I'll be with you on Sunday.
I mean, it's the first 3-way title race going into the last race of the Formula One calendar for the first time, I think, since 2011.
Should we be betting on this? Should we be betting? So you're long Verstappen. I guess I should get put some risk on here, right?
I mean, as the contrarian trade, don't get me wrong, but I mean, how this guy has come back from this season has just been incredible. I mean, someone just needs to take out Lando in the first corner.
Don't be mean. Come on.
I mean, come on.
I want to see an actual race. I want to, a race, not like a first lap crash and retiring. That's boring.
I just want Max to win. He deserves it. He's had a fantastic season.
Fine. All right. Well, we're excited about that. Are we excited about crypto here, Louis? Because we're excited about many things in life. Stocks are looking great. Risk is looking great. Crypto, you know what I mean?
I mean, look, it's messy out there. Don't get me wrong, but I think just this is the moment just to look into 2026 and just think about what we want to be doing, key strategies, all of that sort of thing, reviewing the year ahead. And Coinbase Ventures put on a fantastic report this week, basically just outlining the key themes that they're looking at in 2026. And it's just a great summary of where modern crypto investing is going. And so if you want to know what's happening nowadays within the market, the kicks, developments, what areas we should be paying attention to, I think it's a really great report that summarizes that. And there's something I put a post on this morning, actually, and it was called The Purpification of Everything. And so there's a lot of tokenization. What's that, sorry?
The what?
The purpification of everything. So just bear with me. So there's this a big trend of tokenizing real world assets, and so there's this whole argument about whether we're going to get this 24/7 hour trading in the stock market, and it's coming. But how is it going to come? Because our exchanges and financial institutions, are they just going to keep the lights on throughout the weekend and into the night to enable this? Well, no, probably not, at least in its infancy stages. What's happening right now is we're seeing a lot of these assets actually using the rails of the only market that really trades 24/7, and that's crypto, because crypto's most successful trading product of all time is the perpetual futures. And what crypto does really well is it just launches a whole bunch of new experimental features. It just lets the degens battle test that out. And then Wall Street and big financial institutions are watching from the sidelines. And when they can realize there's an opportunity to make a profit based on the technology that the degens are battle testing, they'll come in, they'll make it a little bit more safe, more compliant for everybody else. And that's what's going to be happening in the perpetual futures markets, where these are futures contracts that never expire. So I think there's going to be a scenario in these next few years where we wake up on a Saturday morning and we see that Nvidia is up 2.3% because it's trading up in the Asian hours, and we're looking at perpetual futures. And it's not the actual stock, but it's the synthetic shadow of what the stock actually is moving like in the perpetual futures market. And so I don't necessarily think that we need to change any of the plumbing in the traditional markets, because a lot of these, you talk about the Swift system, how antiquated that is. I think what's going to happen is over time, people are just going to be paying more and more attention to these perpetual futures markets. Coinbase Ventures see that it's their largest theme that they're paying attention to in the next few years. And so even just, looking here, this is one particular way. This isn't perpetual futures, but it's just another way of bringing traditional assets like stocks and bonds, currencies onto the rails of crypto technology, where it can be just traded 24/7. It can be traded transparently on chain. It settles instantly. It settles globally. This is one thing that I'm watching closely right now.
Do you think that the traditional, the major TradFi players would eventually see this and be like, oh hell no, we got to get involved here? Hell no, not without us.
Yeah, absolutely. Because 24/7 hour trading, that just sounds like it's dreadful for your mental health and your sleep, but at least it's going to make the asset managers some money, right? Because there was a post on Twitter that was making the rounds on the crypto community recently, and it was about how Vanguard, it was about how VanEck would exit the Bitcoin and the crypto market if the thesis would change, because ultimately they're here to make money, and so if the thesis to Bitcoin or crypto changed, they would pivot, they would get out of the market because they wouldn't see it as an opportunity. They were just saying that just as a hypothetical, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are looking at that really curious, because the whole crypto community is, you never sell your Bitcoin, you always hodl, no matter what the conditions are. And so this mentality that you just get into the market based on your thesis, based on whether you can make money. The whole reason why a lot of these big asset managers are getting into crypto isn't because, this big diamond hands thesis. It's because they can make money off it. They can make money by introducing it to more people, to making it a little bit more safer, more compliant, and they can make some money by doing so. The BlackRock ETF has been one of the most successful ETF launches of all time.
I think
they've made a tremendous amount of money.
I think the most successful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, these asset managers are certainly going to be watching in the wings, just having a look at these perpetual futures markets, because again, it just comes back to that point that crypto just launches a whole bunch of new features, and it's almost like this big sandbox. It just launches the features to the degens. It allows people just to battle test them, and then the institutions can watch, and then they can pick certain areas that they want to implement. And right now, we're beginning to see that with the perpetual futures market.
And what's cool but scary about crypto is like if you were talking about some emerging technology from a traditional finance perspective, I would simply say, great, Louis, what's the play? What's the stock? Is there any public company that is involved here? Tell us about it. But in crypto, you can invest in these projects. They have their own tokens, but there's like a plethora of ways to participate, to get involved in a trend like the perpetuation of everything, right? So like, but it takes someone like you to kind of understand what those ways are, because I don't know, right? So I'm just assuming that you do, but it's not as simple as just, hey, here's a ticker, buy the stock if you're bullish on this theme. There's a little bit more to it than that, but you can, in a sense, get in on the ground floor of any trend or any theme, whether it's buying the token that the project is using to fund it or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so there's so many ways just to get access to this, because it's basically like buying the early plumbing to the way that these new systems are running on. There's a lot of new exchanges now that are popping up in crypto that are just recording an incredible amount of volumes, more volumes than platforms like Robinhood. They've got a fraction of the portion that the CME has in terms of open interest, the amount of open positions. Like these new exchanges are just popping up left, right, and center. and they're just really just trying to take advantage and just be the early players in this new wave. And so, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's different ways to invest in it, rather than just going out and buying, BlackRock or any traditional company.
Literally, a question in the chat about Coinbase making the new crypto protocol. I don't know anything about that.
Making the new, are you talking about the early launches, the ICO launches? I assume that's what they're talking about. Could be wrong. Or they could be talking about the base network. I'm not sure. But it's a really big deal because Coinbase opened the ICO market for the US, both institutional and retail, for the first time since 2018. So what's an ICO? An ICO is basically like getting into a company before it goes public. And so if you were in the US and you wanted to get into these cryptocurrencies early before they hit the market while they were making their private rounds, you couldn't really do that. Coinbase for the first time has opened that up with this new platform. And so that's incredibly bullish, I think, zooming out. Because again, it just brings more people into the market. They had their first launch a few days ago, and they're going to be doing a launch every single month. And I think it's just fantastic because again, Coinbase is coming in. A whole bunch of these players are coming in. I put a post out last week where I was comparing two stable coins. I was comparing Circle, I was comparing Tether. And I was basically saying how Tether is basically outside of the US regulatory framework, and Circle, which is the issuer, the second largest stablecoin, is in the US regulatory perimeter. They've got a listed stock, it's fully compliant, and there's this big contrast, this big parallel between the people who are in versus the people who are out of the system. And it's hilarious to me that crypto started out as this whole rebellion to the system. It was almost like a big middle finger to the banks. That's why people bought Bitcoin early. But the only people that are acting like adults in this market are those who are inside the US regulatory system, who are inside the system, like Coinbase, for instance, like Circle, a lot of these asset managers that I talked about coming into this market. And so I think Coinbase doing what they did, they actually put out a tweet. It was hilarious. They put out a tweet of all the things that they did in the month of November. And you just had to scroll down on this tweet because they're just launching so many new features. So kudos to them. And what a fantastic company.
I think it's fair to say that the crypto movement of today is wildly different than the crypto movement of 10 years ago, right? Like, yes, maybe it was born out of some libertarian wet dream or whatever, but like there are now trillions of dollars at stake here. We have moved on from that, right? We have moved on. Wall Street is here. Real money is here. As you said, Louis, the adults are in the room, right? Which is a good thing. But I think many people who are not involved in crypto still think of it as like this wild, wild west from like it used to be, but it just isn't that way anymore. Hey,
Louis. I think the best takeaway about that is that all of the biggest, longest term bulls in the space were pretty fucking wrong about what the future would hold. Right? Like, that's the big lesson. They were way wrong, dude. They were way wrong. All the promises they made turned out to not be true, and thank God.
Nothing happened. Nothing that they said happened yet, but also, the prices went up. so how wrong were they really, right? Prices went up.
That's the one thing they were right about. They weren't right about the why, is my point, right?
Yeah,
why,
what happened to Web3, man?
It ended up being the opposite of their why.
They were right, but they were right for the wrong reasons.
Yes. That's right.
Hey, you believe these conspiracy theories about Binance?
Talk about how they're criminals and how they manipulate the market, that sort of thing.
Who's protecting them? Well, how are they still so big and important? That it kind of boggles my mind, and I think it's a risk. You think they're still around in 10 years? With the same significance?
I think they're around. I mean, look, they're really big in Asia. And so at the Asian market, Asian traders in crypto, compared to the US, compared to Europe, of course, it's a little bit of a overgeneralization, but they're a bit more, should I say, more speculative. And so Binance really really caters to that. And so I think, they're certainly going to be around. But again, look, Binance is a great example, right? Binance is a great example because they were basically the single exchange that was responsible for the entire October the 10th crash. They had literally a software bug that led to a lot of people getting liquidated. Hundreds of millions of dollars of crypto positions got liquidated because of a software bug on their exchange. And then this was the same company that the CEO had to resign and go to prison for 18 months or 2 years because of money laundering. Yeah. And so again, you compare that to Brian Armstrong and compare that to Coinbase, it's night and day. It really is.
Thank God for Coinbase, really. Thank God for the good actors in the space.
And it's also funny as well. A lot of the people in the crypto community, the hardcore crypto community, don't really like Coinbase. They say that they're selfish, that they're just in the space for their own bottom line, which they absolutely are. But in order to do that, they are making the space so much more compliant, so much more available to the broader investing public. But yet people just don't like them. I don't really understand that.
It's because these laser-eyed people, these hodler people, the whole community, the culture there is to just be dumb and not fucking get it. And it continues to be that way. I feel bad. I feel sorry for these people, but they're just misguided. They're not
also, there's a certain type of person that likes to project this holier than thou attitude that, they're only in it for the money. Those people, they're only in it for the money, as if you're not.
They could go buy an ESG fund.
You saw the same thing with GameStop and AMC. They would like lambast Wall Street for being greedy, as if you're not greedy too, as if you're not in this for your stock to go up. Of course you are, right? We all are. That's the point. So don't be all holier than thou, blame other people for being greedy. You're greedy. It's okay.
Someone says Brian Armstrong. Brian Armstrong is the Jamie Dimon of crypto. I would say he's better because he's not a D-bag. He's even better.
That's a good actually. It's a good analogy because Jamie Dimon, in a lot of ways, is the face of TradFi, and
for a long time, my whole career.
And Brian Armstrong is maybe the face of crypto. So,
all right, Louis, is there anything we could buy, or we gotta wait a little bit? Are you dipping your toes back in? We're dipping our toes back in a big way with speculative corners of the equities market. I would think crypto, joins that little rally, but it really hasn't shown me too much yet. Yeah,
I'm getting my shopping list together. I'm putting on a few feeler positions, stuff like Circle has treated us nicely, and just putting on some feeler positions and the altcoin space, just in a few names. So yeah, I'm dipping my toes back in. I think you have a look at what's happening in the stock market. It looks really, really good. And I think crypto is incredibly beaten up. And so if you want to have a look at what has the most to gain, I think it's the areas that have been beaten up the most can catch up highest. I think crypto, software, stuff like that, I think they stand the most to gain.
All right.
Bought some software stocks yesterday. Thundercat. Armstrong is a D-bag IRL. My friend works for Coin. I have a really good friend who works for Coinbase as well as a controller. He's actually been working there for 6 years. And he is the reason why I got so bullish on Brian Armstrong 5 years ago. He actually loves the guy and says he's a great leader. So I've heard nothing but good things. I guess to each his own.
Maybe your friend and his friend are enemies. Everything about that?
My guy's just a lousy accountant. That's all. He's just there counting the money, watching the books.
Your friends don't like each other. That's what's going on here, I think. All right. Do we have a recess, Steve, or do you want to just hop out of here?
I have no recess. I'm excited for the weekend. It's been a phenomenal week for risk assets. A big bounce back to bull mode. Everybody have some parties this weekend. Bull market parties are back on.
Are you going to watch the Formula One this weekend?
I'm going to try.
That's a no.
Steve,
I'm going to try to bet on it.
Steve, I think it's 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday for us. I think that's the time.
Look, I like early morning sports. I like to start early with the sports, get a little action on the weekend. So yeah, I'm gonna tune in, Louis.
And to Louis' point, you really only have to watch the first couple of laps because there's going to be a crash and the race will be over. So you really only got to take a 10-minute commitment,
right? It's a really big one.
That's a really big one. It's the first three-way title fight into the last race of the season since 2011. It'll be a great one.
Cool. I'm trying to get into it. Big sports guy.
All right. On that note, thank you for watching. Thank you, Louie and Kenny, everyone in the chat. We appreciate you guys. And everyone have a great weekend. Go make some money. Get outside. Enjoy yourselves. We'll be back on Monday. All right. Adios.
Mm-hmm.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then I go